A tiny figure moved silently down on the side of the mountain and was soon joined by a second, then a third. A few others hovered nearby on silent wings.
"There they are,"
one whispered, pointing down below to the shepherd's lean-to and cart where Mavra Chang, Renard, and Nikki Zender were trapped.
"Amazing they made it this far,"
another whispered. The first one, the leader, nodded in agreement. Unlike the Cyclopses, their night vision was extremely good. Although they could see in daylight, albeit poorly, they were basically nocturnal. The scene was bright and sharp and clear to them. One looked over to where the two Cyclopses were sleeping, snoring loudly.
"Big mothers, aren't they?"
it said softly. The leader nodded.
"We'll have to sting them, and quickly. At least 2 of us for each one, more if possible. I don't think we can juice them too much for safety's sake." "Will the venom work?"
one asked.
"It'll work,"
the leader responded confidently.
"I looked it up before we left." "I wish guns worked here,"
the doubter persisted.
"It's still risky."
The leader sighed.
"You know this is a non-tech hex. Percussion type might work, but we didn't have time to ransack museums and collectors."
There was a pause, as if the leader sensed it was now or never. Troops are always better in action than waiting for it.
"Jebi, Tassala, and Miri, you take the bigger one. Sadi, Nanigo, and I will take the other one. Vistaru, you take Bahagi and Asmaro with you and see what you can do for the captives. The others stay loose and available. Come in any place you're needed if you have to."
They nodded to one another. The ones on the mountainside launched themselves gracefully into the air, and the teams split off to their respective missions. Mavra Chang was asleep. She'd crawled up to that grate 100 times, and each time had almost fallen, her traction breaking before she budged the damn thing 1 centimeter. She had put the other 2 to sleep to stop their whining and then fallen asleep herself. Suddenly, she heard a noise, as if something fairly heavy had landed on top of the grate. The noise woke her, and for a brief moment, she was confused. Then suddenly, she remembered where she was and looked up. There was definitely something large standing on the cart, but the grating made it impossible to see just what.
"Human? You hear me, human?"
A strange, soft voice whispered. It was heavily accented in a most exotic way. High and light, a sexy, small woman's voice.
"I hear you,"
Mavra Chang responded, hope rising within her in a loud whisper, as loud as she dared.
"We are putting the big things to sleep, human,"
the creature told her.
"Be ready to be took out."
Mavra strained her eyes, trying to see what her rescuer looked like, but it was impossible to see anything, just a blob of light against the greater dark. There was a sudden roar. The big male Cyclops had awakened, and he was agitated and mad. He swore 1,000 growling oaths, then gave something that could only be a cry of pain. She could hear the sound of a great falling body even as his mate roared, yelled, and was, after a time, also felled. Mavra Chang wondered what sort of monsters could fell such huge and powerful creatures so easily. There followed the sound of more of them landing on the grate. That, in itself, was strange. The grate was big, but not that big. She heard them talk, a strange language that sounded like a procession of sweet bells and tiny chimes. It bore less relationship to a language than the grunts and snorts of the sort the Cyclopses had, a very beautiful but most inhuman sound. There was the sound of activity, and Mavra could hear the sounds of many hands doing things around the grate, and the tinkling of those strange voices giving orders in wonderful music. The one that knew Confederation, at least basically, returned.
"Human, how many is down there of you?"
3, she called back, certain that the old threat, at least, was no longer a factor. If it were, these creatures wouldn't be here. "But 2 are drugged into sleep," she warned them. A figure, seemingly a very small one, covered part of the grate, peering in.
"Oh yes, I see now,"
the creature managed. Speaking the strange language was obviously a real problem for her.
"We will have to pull the grate away from them, so you get over near them, yes?"
Mavra did as instructed. "Here all right?" she called.
"Is fine,"
the creature responded, and it was gone. No, it didn't get up or crawl off, she decided. It just went away. She wondered more and more what her rescuers were. It didn't matter. Anything was better than what she had, and at least one of them could speak her language, and they were obviously there to undertake a rescue. There was a pulling and tugging. The grate moved a little, then settled back.